ACC Live access. Duke, #1 in the country. Miami, #1 in the conference. Tonight, they battle.
Well, anybody that beats Duke gets a lot of attention because they have the premier program in the country.
I asked Canes coach Jim Larranaga about the matchup and much more. Also,
steal, Devin Thomas from C.J. Leslie, dunk!
The ACC preseason favorite upset in Winston-Salem. How did the Demon Deacons pull it off versus the Pack? And Devin Thomas was huge last night, but was he better than his sister's been playing? Devin versus Alyssa. We are counting your votes. This is ACC Live. Wednesday means access. We give you inside access to the biggest names in the Atlantic Coast Conference. I'm Jeff Fischel. Today, I talked to Miami Hurricanes basketball coach Jim Larranaga. The Canes, they're finally in the top 25, and tonight, the big game hosting #1 Duke in Coral Gables. But let's stop right there. I'm going to talk about that game a lot. I promise, I will. But it's time. First, we've got to take a hard look at NC State. This team was preseason top 10 in the country. Their offense is definitely one of the top 10 offenses in the country. But I tweeted about the defense in last night's loss to Wake Forest, and we're seeing some major college hoops voices wondering what's up with the Pack. Seth Davis says NC State was, quote, exposed defensively. Jeff Goodman from CBS Sports says last night's game is a perfect example of why, on a national level, everyone is scared of buying into the Wolfpack. We're talking about buying and selling the Wolfpack, right? That's coming up. But let's look at last night. NC State could not stop 6'9" freshman Devin Thomas. He got his first career double-double. The stat line, incredible. 25 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 blocks, 3 steals. He was doing everything on the floor for the Demon Deacons. And still, NC State had a chance with 1.2 seconds left. TJ Warren stole the inbound pass. The desperation shot, no. The final 86-84. Wake Forest fans storming the court after the Demon Deacons upset the 18th-ranked Wolfpack. An impressive win, no doubt, by Wake. But what does this say about NC State? If the Wolfpack is a stock, are you buying or selling? Tweet us at the ACCDN. Hashtag for this show, ACC Live. I'm on Twitter at Jeff Fischel. Now, that was last night. Tonight, huge game in Miami, and Canes fans are hoping it's a repeat of last year.
Miami looking for its first ever win at Cameron Indoor. And one, Reggie Johnson going to work. Duke down 10. Rivers lays it in a Super Bowl comeback effort, and we're going overtime. Miami would not back down. 78-74. What a win.
Joining me now, the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes, Jim Larranaga, 4-0 in the ACC. Coach, it's taken some time for you guys to get some attention nationwide for what you're doing this season. I'm thinking a win over Duke would probably do it.
Well, anybody that beats Duke gets a lot of attention because they have the premier program in the country. Coach K is the winningest college basketball in the history of the game, and yeah, they have a tremendous following, not only regionally, but nationally and internationally.
I think it's an interesting matchup. You were without Reggie Johnson. Duke won't have Ryan Kelly. How do you adjust without an important piece of the puzzle in the lineup?
Well, we've had some games now where Julian Gamble has stepped in and has filled in for Reggie very admirably. He does a great job. He's a terrific worker. He defends well. He runs the floor well. He's rebounding very well. And then the guys who come in off the bench, when Julian moved into the starting lineup, the toughest part is trying to find someone to fill his role. And Rafael Akapajuri and Tanya Jakiri are doing a good job with that.
And it really seems like Kenny Kaji, another big man, has stepped up without Reggie Johnson in the lineup.
Well, Kenny Kaji has really developed into one of the best defensive rebounders in this league. Initially with Reggie, he was our leading defensive rebounder, and Kenny has taken up the slack and done a great job in that area.
Give me a quick update, Coach. What's Reggie's status? When will we see him again?
Well, I don't have any forecast for when he'll be back, but he's working very, very hard. The good thing, if there is a good thing, is the injury is to his hand, and it's his non-shooting hand. So he's able to do the running and jumping and defensive work with our strength and conditioning coach, Jim Krumpost. And Jim and Reggie have been working together every day. So Reggie will be in great shape when he comes back and the doctors give him the clearance to play again.
When he comes back, you guys will be at full strength. I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but I certainly have noticed the Miami Hurricanes are undefeated when you have everybody in your lineup.
Well, you know, during the non-conference portion of our schedule, we played a very demanding group of schools, and a lot of them on the road, like at UMass, at Central Florida. And when we were at full strength, we were playing very well. We had a nice starting lineup and a good rotation, and hopefully we'll be able to get back to that when Reggie comes back.
Let's look ahead to this game against Duke. Put me in the huddle. It's a tight game, final minute, maybe tied. What are you talking to your team about, maybe in a timeout, final minute?
Well, most of the time at the end of close games, we're really talking about maintaining our poise and doing the things we plan on doing. So if we're on offense, of executing a specific play, looking for a specific guy to get us a certain shot and an opportunity to get a second shot. But when we're on defense, it's all about protecting the basket and not giving anything easy to the opponent. And we certainly don't want to foul them.
I want to talk about your point guard for a minute, Shane Larkin. He's amongst the ACC leaders in steals and assists. He's averaging about 12 points a game. It seems like he's really stepped up this season.
Shane is having a tremendous sophomore year. He leads the ACC in minutes played. He's one of those guys. It's very hard for me to take him out. He does so much for us.
I don't blame you. I'd leave him in the lineup too.
He's quick with the ball. He's quick going to the basket, and he's an outstanding three-point shooter.
What would it mean, Coach? You guys are 4-0 in the ACC for the first time in school history. What would it mean for Miami to win an ACC title?
Well, I think that's our players' goal and their dream of elevating this program to the national level. If you can win an ACC regular season title or tournament championship, you know, that puts you in with some of the elite teams in the country. And that's been our goal, to elevate this program. We're drawing more and more fans. Our game against Duke will be a sellout. We expect the game against Florida State to be a sellout. Those things didn't happen every year. So we're excited about the direction our program is going in. We appreciate the support of our fans and especially our student body, who's been coming out in very large numbers. Our pep band has been doing a great job. So the excitement in the arena, the Bank United Center on game night, is tremendous, and I know our players really appreciate that.
Well, they've certainly earned it. A top 10 RPI, first place in the ACC. Coach Jim Larranaga, thanks for taking some time to talk to us.
My pleasure.
So Coach L talked about what an ACC title would mean to the players. A win tonight would put the Canes 2 games up on Duke in the ACC standings. The Bank United Center will be standing room only for just the second time ever tonight. The other time, 2 years ago, when Duke came to town. Fans are ready to embrace this team tonight. No doubt we're seeing it on Twitter. Charlie Strouser tweeted out this: Operation Sellout complete. All the talking is done. Now it's time to show it. And then again, another one from Neil Heller. Game day. Arguably the biggest game in UM basketball history. Tonight, we show the world that we are for real. Duke going down. Go Canes. So you're seeing them fired up in South Florida. If you want more Duke Miami, I have more coming up. But we're asking about NC State. Are you on the bandwagon or off? Are you all in or sitting this hand out? Are you buying or selling after last night's loss? Pick your metaphor. Tweet us at the ACCDN. We'll have your comments come up in a few minutes. And tomorrow, we bask in the glory of one of the great comebacks in ACC history.
And then you just saw that look in Maryland's eyes where they're like, oh man, like, what's about to happen?
It was the game, the minute that defined Jason Williams' incredible career at Duke. January 27, 2001, 12 years ago this week. And on ACC Live tomorrow, Williams and Coach K talk about the Miracle Minute versus Maryland. And coming up next, more on Duke and Miami. We break this game down by the numbers. Miami has something you can measure, but you cannot teach, and that could be a difference maker tonight.
Out with the old and in with the delicious. Commit to bold taste with the new Flavor Resolutions menu at Ruby Tuesday. 10 entrees starting at $9.99. Try our savory barbecue brushed ribs and bacon wrapped shrimp. Or take it up a notch by adding coconut-crusted shrimp to our mango salsa-topped Caribbean chicken. Plus, enjoy our endless garden bar, free with any chef-inspired entree. Ruby Tuesday. It's all good here. Start the new year with savings. Visit rubytuesday.com today for a $5 coupon.
What's better, bigger or smaller?
Bigger!
So which would you rather have, a big treehouse or a small treehouse?
If it's big enough, you can have a disco. Oh, yeah.
Why do you not want a smaller treehouse?
Because it wouldn't be able to fit a flat screen TV, and then the TV would be about this big, and you would have to hold the wire. In the position you would hold the wire, you wouldn't be able to see the TV.
That's a pain in the buns.
Yep. Yeah.
It's not complicated. Bigger is better, and AT&T has the nation's largest 4G network.
The ACC Digital Network, the ultimate video destination for ACC fans. Exclusive highlights, live streaming games, and original live programming, unique access to the student athletes of our time and the legendary voices of all time. Defining moments, personal stories, incredible analysis from authentic ACC sources, cutting-edge content from the leaders in the digital space. The ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.
Good afternoon, Chase Sapphire. This is Stacy from Springfield.
Oh,
Hello?
yes, I didn't realize you'd be talking to an actual person.
You don't need to press 0. I'm here.
Reach a person, not a prompt, whenever you call Chase Sapphire.
Here's tonight's menu, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday. We've been talking about it. Duke and Miami, the Canes, 4-0 in the ACC and number 4 in RPI. Duke, 3-1 in conference and number 1 in RPI. They both have a big man hurt. Tip-off at 7. You can watch it on ESPN, and we'll have the highlights on our YouTube channel and the ACC.com as soon as it's over. Also tonight, Georgia Tech, North Carolina. Tar Heels have looked like a solid tournament team in their back-to-back wins over Florida State and Maryland. Georgia Tech winless in the ACC, but they've beaten UNC 4 of the last 5 times they've met. Welcome back to ACC Live. Wednesday means access. ACC Live Access. I'm Jeff Fischel. We've been asking you about the Wolfpack after last night's loss. They are ranked 156th in the country in defensive efficiency. No team that plays like the 156th best team in the country during half of every game will make it to the Final Four. They can play better D. We saw it against Duke, right, when they beat the number 1 Blue Devils? But that was one game. Are you buying or selling the Wolfpack? Tweet us at the ACCDN. There are other stories, though, making headlines around the conference. Here's what's happening in the ACC now. 4 ACC women have been named to the John Wooden Award midseason watch list. Chelsea Gray, doing everything for Duke, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Her teammate, center Elizabeth Williams, Duke's leading scorer and top 10 in the nation in blocks. Maryland's Tiana Hawkins, averaging a double-double, 19 points, 10 rebounds. And her teammate, Alyssa Thomas, she's averaging 17 and 10, and she's second in the conference in assists. She's also the proud big sister this morning after her brother Devin dominated NC State last night. Football news, former Clemson star C.J. Spiller has been added to the AFC's Pro Bowl roster. Spiller rushed for 1,200 yards this past season for the Buffalo Bills. Do you remember? He was the 2009 ACC Player of the Year after setting an ACC record for all-purpose yards. The latest college tennis rankings are out. The Virginia men are number 1 in the country. Duke is 5th, UNC 18th. The Duke women are 3rd in the new poll from the Intercollegiate Tennis Association. North Carolina is 8th, Miami 9, and then also in the top 20, Clemson and UVA also made it in the top 20 as well. And that's the ACC now. Friday night, women's basketball streams live here on the ACC Digital Network. It's a great battle. Georgia Tech visiting number 22 ranked Florida State. Florida State, one of the most high-powered offenses in the ACC. They're the leading team in the conference in points per game. I will be calling the action live in Tallahassee. And a bonus for you ACC Live fans, since I'll be in Tallahassee on Friday, that means Kelly Nash will be hosting ACC Live here. That's coming up Friday at noon on the ACC Digital Network. And J.R. Reed is coming in as well. So Kelly Nash and J.R. Reed, Friday at noon on ACC Live. We've talked about the Wake Forest upset. Another ACC game last night. Boston College and Maryland. Second half, 45-43 Terps, and that is Jake Layman, the freshman, for 3 of his 15 points. He's loving it, fired up. Of course, the Terps also can rely on their big man, Alex Len. The nice step move into the lane and the dunk. Terps up by 8. Olivier Hanlon. No. Len, one of his 13 boards, quick outlet to Des Wells. The nice finish. Maryland wins 64-59. They're now 15-4, 3-3 in the ACC. Boston College falls to 1-4 in the conference, but those 4 losses have been by a total of 14 points, and that includes losses to Miami, NC State, and now Maryland. Steve Donahue's team giving people a very tough time. Tonight in Coral Gables, where it's a comfortable 71 degrees right now, it gets heated between the Hurricanes and the Blue Devils. Let's break down this battle by the numbers. Everyone's fired up in ACC land talking about Duke and Miami. The first number is 105. The Duke Blue Devils have been ranked in the AP Top 10 for 105 consecutive weeks. Think about how far back that goes. I think that goes back to the time when players were shooting the ball into peach baskets. The next number is 7. The Hurricanes are a perfect 7-0 at the Bank United Center this season. And, of course, tonight they'll have a sellout crowd fired up. That's got to help this team emotionally get fired up for the Blue Devils. The Hurricanes are 13-3 overall. The next number is .422, or as some might say, 42.2%. That's what Duke is shooting from three-point range. That leads the ACC. Of course, give credit to a lot of that to Ryan Kelly, who's out of the lineup. But, of course, Duke still has Seth Curry, who has been fantastic from long range. And this could be the most important number tonight. 5. That's how many Miami players are 6'10" or taller. The Canes also have 5 more players who are 6'5" or 6'6". With Ryan Kelly out, Miami could have a big size advantage. And that's Duke Miami by the numbers. We asked you on Twitter, will the Canes beat the Blue Devils tonight? Duke fans are not having it. 66% say no, 34% say yes. Thanks for tweeting us about that. We've also been talking about Devin Thomas and his sister Alyssa Thomas, the siblings. Who's been better this week? It's a tough call. Last night, Devin Thomas was in full beast mode. We've been saying it. When will Wake Forest find that reliable third option after C.J. Harris and Travis Mackay? Boy, did he step up last night. He was awesome for the Deeks in the upset of the Wolfpack. Meanwhile, his sister has been doing it ever since she arrived in College Park, right? Last year, as a sophomore, she was an All-American and the ACC Player of the Year. This year, she's been just as good. Why not make it a repeat as ACC Player of the Year? She was also the ACC Tournament Player of the Tournament last year. So, again, what a great brother-sister combo. That comes off yesterday's show when we were talking about siblings, right? In light of the Harbaugh Bowl. Now, of course, the big topic a lot of people are talking about on Twitter and ACC Lander, the loss by NC State. If the Wolfpack is a stock, are you buying or selling? You see guys talk about these teams in terms of Wall Street. So what about Mark Gottfried's group? Well, Pete Medhurst gave us this. Giving up 86 to Wake might have my broker making some calls. No doubt. I think that would be happening this morning if it were a stock. Now, what about Michael C. at NCSU 84? Selling and rebuying in March. Okay, that's a possibility. Maybe this team is down right now, but rebounds in March. Last year, they made a Sweet 16 run. That's why so many people believed in this team going into November. Maybe it's just one of those stretches where they'll turn things around. And Melissa Barber says this. Selling. Wake Forest, really? Did anyone tell them they didn't win at all when they beat Duke? I don't think there's any doubt, right? This team has had an emotional letdown after the loss to the Blue Devils. They've struggled. They've gotten wins, but this time they couldn't get through it. Though they lost to Maryland, then they really pulled a tough one out against Clemson. They lose last night to Wake Forest. So there's no doubt this team knows how to raise its game. It did it against Duke. Can it do it again? Can it play that way for an extended period of time? Keep the comments going at the ACCDN. North Carolina, final note here on the ACC Live. North Carolina is #1 in a new preseason baseball poll. It's from perfectgame.org, the same group that named Carlos Rodon and Trey Turner preseason All-Americans. We told you about them yesterday. Rodon and Turner in this new poll. The Wolfpack at #9. Georgia Tech is 12, and Florida State is 17. So 4 ACC teams in the preseason top 25, including the Tar Heels at #1. Thanks to Jim Larranaga for taking some time to talk to us. Duke and Miami tonight. We'll talk about the game on ACC Live tomorrow and a look back at the Miracle Minute. Jason Williams and Coach K take us back and talk about Duke's amazing 2001 comeback against Maryland. Thanks for watching.